way that I've always thought about biology is that, I mean, if you stand way off and look at biology, it's a kind of chemical system for amplifying quantum mechanical indeterminacy. It's a way of lifting the indeterminacy at the atomic level and transferring it to the molecular level in the form of charge transfer, resonance rings, electron storage, and this sort of thing, and then raising it still further into the macro-physical realm, so that concepts like free choice, indeterminacy, so forth and so on, become real, because apparently, I mean, obviously, thoughts, which are the place where free will begins, I will or will not do X, thoughts are very subtly channeled, I don't know if channeled is the word, well, cascades of electrons. That what we're talking about when we say, you know, I will make my hand into a fist, and then it happens, is we're talking about thought becoming the initiator of physicality, of acts in the physical world. How this happens is completely unknown. But I think indeterminacy, free choice, the sense of controllable destiny, all these things probably have to do with the fact that the nature of living chemistry is quantum mechanical, and so it has these indeterminacies built into it. It's quite miraculous and yet very neat.
Exploding linearity.
Yes, right. And exploding indeterminacy. I mean, that seems to be what is the magic of our existence, is that somehow we have pushed out a bubble of indeterminacy in a macro-physical space. I mean, people can say there is no free will, but there is the persistent experience of the illusion of free will, which is, you know, I'll take it. So how this happens, and it apparently is not really, well, we don't know, obviously, but it is not obviously happening at the animal level in the same way it's happening for us. Animals experience a kind of eternal moment of choice-making, which also rides on this quantum indeterminacy, but they don't have a horizon of recall or a set of forward-leading vectors based on the past, or at least it's assumed not. The fact that we can symbolically communicate these things is taken as proof of their presence in our organization and absence in other, yeah.
What you're saying is that on the atomic level is manifested into this, and that the expression of everything of the expression of the atomic level is kind of a mechanism that's expressed through into this.
Well, the way nature seems to work in most systems is that a strategy which works will be repeated on different levels at different scales. This is the fractal thing that we were talking about over here. It's a great question. See, if there is not free will, then thinking is meaningless. Because if there is not free will, you think what you think because you couldn't possibly think anything else. So thinking is not an enterprise of any consequence in a universe without free will. Yet we have the persistent intuition that thinking is of consequence. Well, so then the question is, our science tells us that at the scale we're living at, everything is very highly determined by, like, thermodynamics, Newtonian physics, the laws of mechanics, so forth and so on, and that we are, I mean, this is where Descartes pushed it in this 18th century, that we are machines of some sort. Yet, you know, persistently, modernity insists that there is this existential residuum. Well, then, if you're going to try and explain it, you know, whatever that means in scientific terms, then what you have to do is find a source of this kind of indeterminacy somewhere in the universe, and then build a pipeline, an ideological pipeline, where you can pipe it from there to where you need it. Okay, so where we need it is in modern sociology and psychology, and where we have it is in quantum physics. So a lot of people are trying to build a pipeline to bring it over here and dump it here, and then it will do wonderful things for our modeling of the living state. But this is all fine to talk about this, but I warn you, this is not my forte nor my favorite thing, because I think it's very cut off from the felt presence of immediate experience.